really, I mean, it's changing the way that I look at my day, right? I was actually in a Bible study with a pastor, and everybody was, every time somebody asked me, hey, how am I doing? I always said, unbelievable. And I thought that was pretty good, right? And this pastor, man, we say, hey, we asked him, hey, look, how are you doing today? And he said, man, today is the best day of my life. Right. And and what I took from that, I was like, man, you're right. Before, the forest is the past, the future's not here. The best day that we have is today. Right. Today we have air in our lungs. We're excited. So I was talking to my team about that. So guys, I want you guys to start being special people. Okay. So I want, when people ask you, hey, how is your day? How are you doing today? I want everybody to respond, man, today is the best day of my life. All right. So that's you guys got it from me. After you say it 3 times, you can own it. Okay. But anyways, guys, really want to talk to you guys today about just some couple points. First of all, I just want to say I'm extremely proud of my team, guys, to think that we are #1 in the state of Florida. The reason that's such a big deal, because you guys know Willie has been #1 for so long. Obviously, the month has not closed yet. It's the 18th of the month. But man, out of the last 18 days, he was only on there yesterday. And I told the team, I said, guys, whatever we do, we cannot let Willie, be #1 on here. And they're bought in, man. So big shout out to my Fort Lauderdale team, Airboat, Jeff, Layton, Amanda. Guys, they've recruited 17 agents in the last 3 days. I mean, just absolutely incredible. The Tampa team has done incredible as well. They've recruited over 15 agents in the last 3 days. I mean, they just kind of go neck and neck, and I'm super proud. Definitely a special shout out to Layton. I mean, he's doing absolutely incredible. This guy's a machine, guys. I learn from him every single day. I mean, just so consistent, one of the most consistent people I know. And definitely my boy Abel. Abel has not been here in Primerica yet 12 months, guys, and he's I believe it's $8,000 from getting his watch, right? So his 11th month in business, he's $8,000 from going over 50,000. Ain't that something, right? He signed his IBA at 20 years old. So from 20 to 21 years old, guys, going to make over $50,000. I'm talking from IBA to 12 months later. I don't think nobody in our organization has ever done that. And I just want to say, Abel, I'm so freaking proud of you. Just setting such an incredible example for people that, for the young guys that come in 2021. And I know a lot of you guys on the car, like, oh, he's young, he can't focus. Guess what, man? He's a perfect, example of what a focused young man can do, man. So I'm just extremely proud of you, Abel. You're gonna do big things, and the whole team, guys. I mean, I can't tell you guys. I believe I have the best team in Primerica. These guys are just absolutely incredible, so consistent. Ale Lewis, Joed, Orlando. I mean, these guys are just incredible. And there's some new people, guys, that we have on our team that I'm super excited for you guys to learn their name, because they're gonna do something special, man. So big shout out to you guys. But anyways, guys, look, I'm going to give you guys some key points that I hope you guys take into consideration. And guys, I want you guys to know that, just like you guys, I was where you were at one point too. I remember looking at the leaderboards and seeing like if somebody recruited 50 people a month, I used to be like, wow, like, dang, 50 recruits a month. Like, can you believe that? At the time we're doing like 10 recruits. And looking at that. But guys, I want to let you guys know that it can happen for you, okay? As long as you stay consistent, okay? You got to stay very consistent. But I want you guys, before I give you guys a couple points, I want you guys to master your imagination and visualization. Guys, it's so funny. For many years, Madeline, right, when it wasn't happening for a long time, I would close my eyes and imagine it. I'm going to say, man, I could see my 100 recruit base shop, right? Now I can see my $100,000 base shop, right? Senior vice president promotion. Guys, I'm telling you that stuff is so important for you to visualize it, right? Think about it. Anything in life that is brought into fruition, right? Didn't somebody have to imagine it first, right? And then I'm going to go into the next step on what it is. But what I'm saying is, right? Somebody had to imagine it, right or wrong, right? So I want you guys to imagine your base shop, right? I want you to imagine your team. Linda, I want you to close your eyes and be like, man, 100 recruits a month. I see it, right? I see it. Brendan, I want you to look, 50,000, right? $20,000 a month. I can see it, right? And I can see it and I can feel it. I'm telling you guys, and once you really see it, do you guys know that the mind, it can't tell any difference if you visualize something or if you're in the moment, right? So a long time ago, a study was done with some Olympic runners, guys, and what they were doing is prior to them prior to them running the Olympics, they were simulated. They were put in a room, dark room, and their mind simulated, and they simulated the sounds, the winds. And did you guys know that the test that were ran on the people in the room and the ones that ran the race, the exact same muscles were used, right? For the guys that were in the room that never got up the chair, that it was just simulated in their mind, right? And the ones that ran the race. Are you guys with me? Right? So guys, the mind is extremely powerful. So before we do anything, guys, I want you guys, number one, I want you guys to start thinking it, right? Now, why is that so important, guys? Because once you start thinking it, you know, if you don't ever think about it, guys, you won't bring it about your life. Does that make sense? Right? And the moment when you start thinking about it, you say, you know, at first you say, look, I promise you guys, for those of you guys that are not doing 20, 20, 30, 30, 40, or whatever the number is, right? Making an X amount of money. If you start saying, look, you know, I can see the 30, you're like, dang, okay, I can do that. But what happens is most people never talk about it, right? They never think about it. And because they never think about it, they're never going to find a solution. They're never going to find a way for that to come into existence. Does that make sense? Okay. So what you have to do, you have to think about it. You have to imagine it. And before you know it, your mind is going to start looking for solutions. Does that make sense? So we want to make sure that we're solution oriented, guys, not problem oriented. Okay. So, and I want you guys to know, and I know you guys see our team is number one, and we're excited. We're representing our hierarchy, our coaches, right? Eric and Brent Ortiz and Eddie Von Ortiz. We're going to put us on the map. But guys, I want to let you guys know that for many, many years, there's so many years of hard work, okay? People get rewarded in public for what they practice in private, okay? So, now the issue is that is for good or for bad, right? So, if you've been here for some time and you're not lighting up, right? You don't have to be number one, but being on there, right? Being on the leaderboards. I believe everyone should be on the leaderboards. We know what you're doing when no one is around you. Does that make sense? Guys, right now, I'm so excited. I have the number one and the number two regional leader in the whole company. Can you believe that? Right? Number one and number two regional leaders in the whole company, man. And I mean, I'm just so proud of these guys. They're just absolutely incredible, okay? But look, guys, all right, point number one, I want you guys to focus on, hey, I'm going to start focusing on commitment, not motivation. See, motivation rubs off, okay? Commitment doesn't, right? So I need you guys, if you're going to put a plan together, you're going to put some goals, I need you to stay committed to that plan long after the feeling of wanting to stay committed stays. Does that make sense? Hey, I'm going to do, right, I don't know, 3 by 3,000 this month. I'm going to do 10 by 10, 20 by 20, right? Join Madeline. So even if you put those goals, I need you to stay committed to them long after you no longer feel like doing it, right? Right? Hey, facts over feelings. You guys with me? Right? Make commitment. Guys, do not be an only motivated leader, right? Be a committed leader. Okay, and if you can do both, that's ideal, right? Okay, I always say, look, I don't motivate people, but I have no issue motivating motivated people, right? But more than motivating people, right? I want to make sure that I commit with committed people. You with me? And the only thing you see on my team, guys, you just see my face, but I'm telling you, it's just my team. Right, I got new people like Sherika Delu, man. She's killing it. She was an office manager for 5 years. Came into the business 90 days from IBA. They doing over 20 by 20,000. That, I mean, guys, special. But you know what? She's committed and she's doing appointments. And you see her kids running around and she's muting the screen real quick and yelling at one of them, right? And she's back, right, taking the life out. I'm telling you, commitment over motivation. Okay, you guys with me, right? So number one, I need to. Right, I need to stay committed, right, and not just motivated, okay? Number two, okay, guys, you gotta seek knowledge before you seek results, right? Look, let me teach you guys something. Ready? Okay, first I learn, and then I remove the L. You with me? Right? For those of you guys that can't spell, you don't catch that like me, right? No, I'm kidding. Right? First you learn, then you earn. You guys with me, right? So, hey, you might be going through a learning curve, whatever it might be. Now, guys, don't get me wrong. You should not be on your learning curve for, for years. That's not true, okay? Though what I'm saying is, like, some of us, hey, we learn and then we're going to earn. See, some people want to earn before learn, and that's just not how it works. You with me? Right? You got to learn to make the big money. So you consistently, guys, you have to stay self-improvement. You have to self-improve. Guys, income very rarely exceeds personal development. And when it does, it's usually inherited, right? Personal income does very rarely will exceed personal development. Okay? So the more you learn, guys, the more you earn. Are you with me? Right? And especially in this business, guys, why is it such an easy correlation? Because you're always pouring into people, right? And if you're pouring into people, okay, and your words don't come off right? If your wisdom's not coming off good, right? If you're not closing right the appointments, you know, all that's telling me is, look, you need to learn. Does that make sense? So we need to learn before we earn, okay? Right? Number 3, okay? We need you to get rid of staggering thoughts. Right? You guys know that the most dangerous place is from this ear to this one, right? You win up here and you lose up here. Everything is up here, right? So I'm going to give you guys some tips on how, that I learned from Melinda Turner on how, how you're going to get rid of negative thoughts, okay? It's very simple. Look, imagine that your negative thoughts are a room, and every positive statement, it starts taking room. Guys, would you guys agree that if you start saying positive thoughts, positive affirmation, if you say it right long enough, would you agree the negative starts to leave, right? If you start telling yourself, look, I can do this. I remember I had failed my 214 many times. Like, they knew me at the testing center. They'd be like, hey, what's up, Edouard? They didn't even ask me for ID anymore. They're like, hey, you're back again. Okay. Awesome. How do you do yesterday? Right? And I remember, I was on the board and I had failed. I was like, it took me 6 months to get my insurance license, and I was writing on the board, and I said, I'm going to pass my insurance exam. And Melinda said, no, this is what you need to do. You need to put, I passed my insurance exam. She's like, your mind won't know the difference. Okay. I need to say, I passed my insurance exam. I said, okay, I remember I wrote the whole board like 200 times. Hey, guess what? Next day I got in there, I got a perfect score on the test, guys. I got a 70, exactly what I needed. Right? Hey, to me, that's a perfect score. So I don't, right? I don't care what you guys say, right? That was a perfect score. Okay. So, guys, number 4, okay, you need to stop being so nice to yourself. Okay, you need to hold yourself accountable. Are you with me? You need to hold yourself accountable. Okay, if you said you're going to do something and it does not happen, okay, what are the results? What is it going to happen? Reward versus punishment, right? So, should we be, right? And again, guys, and these points are only for people that are very, 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 very serious about the business. Okay. These are not for people that are kind of serious. These are for people that are serious about the business. Guys, I don't know about you guys. My family, right? My parents never, ever, ever made over $40,000 a year, right? I never had one of my parents make over $40,000 a year. Okay, ever. Okay, so I came in here. I said, look, this is my shot to get financially independent. This is my shot to retire my mom, right? This is my shot to change my family tree. I am not going to blow this. Right? And guys, and I understand, Primerica is around, been around for a long time. Yes, guys, but timing is everything. Timing is everything, guys. Right? Guys, now, right? You're here now. You need to take advantage of this thing now. Are you guys with me, right? So what I would recommend for you guys, I would set up a punishment and reward system. Okay, so let's say I'm going to put some goals together. I'm going to say, okay, well, my goal this week, it might be to do, 10 recruits and 5,000 in production, right? It might be to do 1 recruit and 1,000 in production, but I need you to have some type of direction, right? So some type of direction. Okay. Now, if I hit these goals, I'm going to spend Sunday playing with my daughter. I'm going to spend Sunday playing with my son, right? I'm going to go out on date night on Friday night, right? Okay, but what happens if I don't hit this? Okay, what am I gonna do on Sunday, Saturday night, or Friday evening? Are you guys with me? And guys, the science behind it is, if you guys really love your kids, if you really love your kids, right? Right, honest to God, are you gonna let that week go by without you doing 1 by 1,000, right? If you have a girlfriend or you have a wife and you say, babe, we're going to date night on Friday night, you know, if you don't go on Friday night, there's gonna be like a problem, right, Carlos? Like it's gonna be an issue. So, right, so you have the fear of your woman, right, and want to do it. You say, shoot, I better, right, Brendan? If you tell Janae, we're gonna go out on Sunday morning to church, right, and then we're gonna hang out. If that doesn't happen, if you gotta do it over Zoom, that's gonna be a problem, right? You guys see what I'm saying? So guys, and I'm telling you, and guys, especially for you guys that are younger, guys, I've been in this business since I was 19 years old, right? If I would when I wasn't successful in Primerica, I would say I had a punishment reward system, guys. And this is what would happen. I say, okay, I'm gonna go to the club on Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, if I do 0 by 1,000, right? Very, very little goals. No, right? You gotta stretch yourself, right? You got to stretch yourself. Hey, look, whatever it might be, I got to do 2 by 2, 3 by 3,000, right? You can't just say, right? I know some of you guys, you say, you know what? If I think about making one call, I'm going to, no. You guys with me? I want you guys to have that, okay? Guys, and the next bullet point I'm going to cover, I have 2 more for you guys, okay? Don't rely on others, right? I lost track on what bullet I was on. But anyways, I believe it's number 5, right? Hey, don't rely on others, right? Don't rely on others. If you have a team goal, guys, there is no I in team, but there is a me, okay? If your team goes to do 10 by 10,000, you do it yourself, right? Look, if you want your team to make more money, RVPs or regional leaders or anyone with a team, you make more money, okay? If you want your team to pick up more IBAs, you pick up more IBAs. If you want your team to write more life apps, you write more life apps. Does that make sense, right? Okay, and even to the point where you have a team, you want to still do the work, right? But what I'm saying is you got to do it first. You got to be the example. See, guys, a leader is someone that knows the way, goes the way, and most importantly, shows the way, right? So sure, you know how to do a presentation. Are you doing the presentation and then are you teaching it to others? And you repeat that process. And when do you stop repeating it? Until the job gets done. When is the job get done? I don't know. You guys' goals might be different. Mine's is $1 million, SNSD, 27 years old. I don't know what it might be for you guys. And you keep going and going and going, right? And the last point, guys, that I'm going to cover before, I don't know if Diana is on here or not. So I can introduce her, but anyways, guys, and the last point, I want to teach you guys, and my base shop knows this, I love covering this. I want you guys to teach you guys the difference between something not being your fault, right? But turning that fault into your responsibility. Okay, what does that mean by that? There are some things in life, guys, that it is not your fault. It is not your fault, right? And maybe it's not your fault that you grew up poor, right? Maybe it's not your fault that you're not the best looking guy. I mean, poor Brendan, right? Now I'm kidding. Right? Maybe whatever, maybe it might not be your fault, guys, that you're not financially where you need to be at, but I need you to make it your responsibility. Does that make sense? Because anything that you're not responsible for, you can't fix, right or wrong, team, right? So man, and guys, there's so many different avenues of life on this call, people that have been here 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, right, guys, whatever it might be, right? But I need you to make it your responsibility. You guys with me? So team, if you were to say anything, right, you say, look, if I'm going to learn anything from this call, okay, I am going to learn, right? Things might not be my fault, but I'm going to make it my responsibility because it is your duty to make sure that doesn't repeat in your life. Does that make sense? Are you guys with me? Right? Guys, I grew up poor, right? I grew up very, very poor, third world country, right? Came to the United States. Dad worked at a factory. Mom worked at a restaurant. See, that wasn't my fault, guys. You with me? Right? And by the way, if you come from another country and your parents get everything to make sure you come here, and they give up their food, their day-to-day life, their jobs, their family, and they come here, the most disrespectful thing you can do is go on to be average and ordinary, right? I see some Haitian flags in the back, Cuban, Puerto Rican, right? Colombian, Venezuelan. Guys, your family gave up everything to be here. Everything. The most disrespectful thing you can do is be average and ordinary. Are you guys with me? So team, I mean, I love you. I'm trying to stay perfect on timing. Is Diana on? Okay. Perfect. He says they're gonna let me know when she comes in. So hopefully a couple more minutes. Okay. You guys with me though? Right? Is everybody with me? Okay. And guys, you know, with that being said, look, I just want to tell you guys, look, there's a story that I really you know, really love. Okay. And it's a story about this elephant, right? And I'm going to show you guys how the mind is so powerful, not just for you, right? But for everybody, guys. But right there's a elephant training, right? They train elephants to go to the zoo, and there's this trainer, right? And with elephants come in, right? What he would do when they're babies, he would tie them to a plastic chair, right? So a big old elephant, okay, sorry, people are touching, right? Would tie them to a plastic chair. And as those elephants got older, can you guys imagine these massive elephants, guys, right? And they wouldn't go anywhere, and they were tied to a plastic chair, right? And a gentleman comes in, he says, hey, how do you do it? How do you do it that these things are tons and they don't move? He says, look, I've already captured their mind, right? And because they believe that chair, that plastic chair that doesn't even weigh 1 pound could stop a 5-ton elephant, okay? They're not going anywhere. So what I need you guys to do, guys, is whatever that mind, right? Whatever that plastic chair that's holding you back, you guys are powerful. You're a beast. You can do anything, okay? Don't let that, okay, stop you from getting big things. So guys, with that being said, look, we have one of the best speakers in Primerica. Guys, let me tell you about Diana. Diana and I have been in the business the same amount of time. Okay, and she's rich and I'm not, but I'm working on it. Okay, I mean, guys, Diana Macias is a Virginia Carter Award winner. I mean, guys, like I'm talking the best of the best. Within the first 2 years, she was making over 200,000. She has broken almost every single record in the company, right? She's the #1 female, guys, in the whole company. There's 139,000 licensed representatives. Okay, of 139,000, 53% are from the female specimen. Okay, now let me talk to you guys. Out of that 53%, okay, we have the #1 in the company. So with that being said, Diana, thank you so much for getting on. Take it away.
Hey guys, thank you so much. Man, I'm going to hire you so you can do my introductions every time, Edward. That was awesome. So thanks so much. But you know what? It's true, we've been the same amount of time, but everyone's story is a different story, right? So we should never compare one to the other. It should actually incentivize us to keep moving, but everyone's story is a little bit different because we all come with different baggage, right? We all have different stories. We all have different age. We all have had different experiences throughout life. And so here the goal is not to win. The goal is to you win. Right? The goal is not to win against each other. It's for you to win. That's the goal here. It's for you to win, because everyone can be a winner in this business, and that's what I love. And I was just right before I got started, and I apologize. I showed up right on time, but I was doing a meeting. We do a training for us from 9 to 10 a.m. So I was just showing up. But right before, you know, I have these little things. I get really nervous when I'm going to talk in front of people, even though it's through Zoom, but I still get nervous. And you know why? Because I know that every time that I'm going to talk in front of people, I have a huge responsibility, because I don't know whose life I'm going to change. And I don't know, it might be that I don't change any, but I still have a big responsibility, because I have to do my best. So, you know, I have this little routine before I'm going to talk. I go brush my teeth really quick, and I don't know, it's like the toothpaste just gives me like energy. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go, right? So I always do that. So you guys know that my teeth are clean. I'm about to talk to you guys. So look, first, I want to really thank Dan and like Ed Ortiz and his wife for inviting me, and Edward as well. You know, Edward is one of my big cheerleaders, and I love it. He's always just saying like, "Hey, you're doing great" and stuff. And obviously, Ed and his wife, I have great memories from them, and I haven't been in the business that long. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my story, but they have really, there were those people that have poured into me. Without no benefit in return, because they don't override me. They make $0 from anything that I do, but they've always believed in me. And I remember when I was brand new, we went on a security trip, which by the way, I qualified just by coincidence, okay? Just because they allowed the power builders to go, because I'm not a securities person yet. And I got a chance to meet him there. And they say, you're going to be the next Virginia Carter Award. We're really rooting for you. And at that time, I couldn't even believe I would be the Virginia Carter Award. And thank God they believe in me. And then now I'm one of the Virginia Carter Awards. So thanks so much. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my story. Okay, why? Because I think the stories is what tell the most about this business. The story is not for you guys to just say, oh, how pretty, how cute, how. It's more to think, what from here I can take and apply to my life, apply to my business. Because yes, I want to change your life, but what I want the most is I want to help you take your business to the next level for whatever your level is. Okay, so let me share my presentation here really quick. And listen, congratulations. I know they just crossed another milestone. I know they're on the road to the million, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. So, you know, that's going to be a big celebration for all of us. So let's start right here, guys. Let me see if we can see it well. Yeah. Okay. So let me tell you a tiny bit about how it all started. Okay. I've been in the country for 19 years. I was born and raised in Colombia. And then my first job was at a toy store, right? That's where I first worked here. And I used to make $156 a week when I worked there. I still remember the exact amount, but you know what? I thought that was a lot of money because I had just come from the country. I didn't understand the difference between pesos and dollars, right? I used to live with my father at that time. He used to pay for my bills. So $156 a week was like really good money. And then I remember I met someone, I was taking English class, and I met someone that was working at that restaurant called Bonefish Grill. And he used to make $150 a night. He said, oh, I made last night $150. I'm like, wait a minute. You made last night $150 and I've been working all week for the same $150. Something's not right in this picture. So I decided, I was like, I'm going to go work at a restaurant. The thing though, that I didn't realize it, I had no English whatsoever at that time. So it was hard to work at a restaurant with no English. I don't know how I got hired. I really think that the manager, I really think he was God, because I don't know how I got hired because I had no English. I remember when I used to do my, like, you know, take the menus, I had to call a hostess. So she'll help me translate what the clients wanted. And then I was able to put the menu, but I really wanted to grow. And so that's where I worked. And I worked there while I went to all my undergraduate school for my bachelor's in nursing. So this was my first day as a nurse. I had my bachelor's in nursing. I worked as a nurse, right? I was a proud nurse. I loved it from the day I graduated. I really loved the bedside. I love taking care of people. I like helping people. But you know what? Like every Latin family, or a lot of us, we think like, okay, I made it, right? Now I have a degree, I have a diploma, I can hang it somewhere, now I made it. But I think like all of us in Primerica, we're all overachievers, all of us, right? And so when I was there, I said, wait a minute, I cannot just stay there. I have to do something else. If you sign your IBA, you listen to his training, let me tell you, you're an overachiever, and that's why you're looking for something extra. So I started doing something else, and I finally went to my graduate school, and I graduated with a master's of nursing. Right, I became what we call a nurse practitioner. I'll show you these guys, not so you guys say, oh, more amazing. No, I'm proud of it, but that's nothing to be proud of. I mean, it does take some discipline, but I'm going to tell you what happened. So I graduated, you guys seen there, since I graduated in 2013. So on December 19th of 2013, I graduated. And then I remember this day. I remember this day like if it was yesterday. I was at the hospital, right? And that face right there wasn't I'm trying to look good face. It was a very frustrating day for me. I remember I took a picture of it because I didn't want to forget it. I wasn't even in Primerica yet. But this was my 1099 on that year. My W-2, I'm sorry, and I made $109,000 that year. And I was frustrated. I'm going to tell you why, because a lot of people might think, oh, how can you be so ungrateful? $100,000 is not by money. Let me share with you guys why, right? This is my mother, and my mother has right, her check in Primerica. My mom actually did all the way her run to division, right? And now I made her my partner. But my mom, right? I came to the state as a political refugee. So I came and we couldn't leave the country. And my mom was denied to come every single time. So for 8 years, she'll try to come and they'll deny her visa. Deny every time, right? With no reason. And so for 8 years, we couldn't see each other. I couldn't see her. She couldn't see me. I couldn't fly. She couldn't fly in. But then, you know, that reminded me of just one thing. After the 8th year, she finally said, hey, you know what? I say, Mom, go try. Someone told me they're giving visas easily. Let's give it a try. So she goes, she gives it a try, and they approve her visa. So we're all excited. She comes in, right? She comes here too. And then she says, you know what? I'm going to stay. Like, not this time, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell everything I have in Colombia and I'm going to come and live with you guys. And guess what I said? I said, no way. No way, you're not going to do that. You're not going to come and live with us. Like, you can't do that, right? Let me tell you why I said it. when you guys think that money is not important, that was a total money decision. So for 8 years, we hadn't been able to see each other. And I told her, don't come, don't stay here with me, because I knew that with $100,000 income, I couldn't take care of a 60-some-year-old mother. I knew she will get sick. I will not be able to afford the hospital. In Colombia, she can get her hair done, her nails done, right? I could not afford any of that here. So I said, don't do it. So money actually rules all of our decisions. At that time, I said, don't do it, just because I knew that I couldn't take care of her. Thank goodness she's an adult, and she said, whether you want it or not, I'm going to move there. And thank God she did. And then the second reason was this was my father. So my father was a physician, right? He came to the country. He was revalidating everything to become a physician again. And through that process, he passed away. And so when he passed away, and that picture that I show you guys where I was at the hospital, that I was looking at my 1099, I'm a W-2, and then I was frustrated, is because I said, there's no way that for 9 years I didn't see my mom. There's no way that my father had to work here doing all the stuff he had to do. And then I'm going to have, and this is no insult to anyone, but this is how I felt. I'm going to have a mediocre life for the next 40 years of my life, and they pay that price. There is no way. There's got to be something else out there. I don't know what it is, but there's got to be something else out there, because I know people that do well, and I have to figure it out. They pay a high price. Now it's my time to take over and then I'll pay the price. And so I started looking for things, and I started praying, right? Now, this is what I said, right? So God blessed me with an opportunity, but I was smart enough to take it. I got recruited by Miguel Leach, right, in December 16 of 2015. So that was 2 years after I graduated from my master's degree. And when I say God blessed me with the opportunities, because all of us here in this call, these 161 people, you guys have already been blessed. You guys have already been blessed by the God that you believe on. And if you don't believe in any, you guys already got lucky, if you want to call it luck. However, I was smart enough to take the opportunity. What do I mean by that? Is because a lot of you are not doing Primerica. You're playing Primerica. You're observing Primerica, but you're not doing Primerica. What does that mean? That God blessed you, but you really haven't done the opportunity. God gave you the blessing, but you haven't been smart enough. I'm not saying you're not smart enough. I'm just saying you haven't been smart enough to do what you need to do to really take advantage of this opportunity, right? And so that's what I did, in difference with a lot of people. I started right away. These were my first numbers. I got recruited in December, did my 3x3, and my license got appointed in January. So I was active in January. That was my first month in the business. My first month in the business, I did 1 by 10,000, I did 6 by 10,000, and I had 5 licensed agents on my team. Now I want you to look at February. I never went below 2020 after my second month in the business. Never have done less than 2020. That's when people say, oh, it's hard to do 2020 if you don't have a team. That's not true. The only reason why you don't do 2020 is because maybe you don't have enough work ethic to work every time when you're off. Because I was part-time here. But then the only other differentiator is I want you to look at my licenses. I had licenses every month from the time I was new. I was double-digit licensing after 4 months in the business. I was already double-digit licensing, right? So I understood that if I wanted to duplicate myself, if I wanted to, right? I only have 24 hours a day, but if I have 5 licensed agents now, you have to multiply 24 by 5, because now that's how my days are, right? So no superstar. I didn't do any 30,000 in personal production, 1, 2 recruits, 3 recruits, personal recruits, but I work on them to help them, right, grow. And I have always been very good at, you give me 2 people, I'm going to go deep and deep and deep and deep and deep. That's what I'm good at, right? And so these will continue my numbers. If you guys see in there, nothing crazy, 2 to 3 recruits, right, personal, 5 by 10,000 in personal production, but look at the numbers, right? So this was July. In July, I was making 56,000 by 29,000, which at that point in my life, right, in my generation, those were big numbers as a regional. Because right now in my office, regionals do like 80 by 80, okay? But that's what it was. And so that was supposed to be huge, right? And I said, I'm going to be the fastest RVP. I'm going to kick butts. I'm going to break records, right? I'm going to do everything fast. And so then I came up brave and I quit. I said, in July, I said, you know what? This is it. I'm making the biggest numbers in the office. I'm going to quit. I got this. And I quit. I was scared, but I quit. Right. And so all the office thought, okay, if she's going to come full, if part-time she was doing those numbers. Now imagine when she goes full-time, what she's going to do. She's going to break all records. And you know what happened? Doubt kills more dream than failure ever will. I started doubting myself and everything about the business so much that I stopped doing what I already knew how to do, right? What happened? This is the most important tip I'm going to give you in this entire presentation, okay? When you think that you're not listening to people when they talk to you, you're listening. Even if you feel that you're not listening, when anyone tells you bad stuff about the business, bad stuff about the company, bad stuff about you, even if you try to play or you're not listening, you are listening. And it stays right here, right in the back of your head. And then when the time comes, when you're a little bit shaky, when you're a little bit doubtful, when maybe you went through a big change, which for me, leaving my career of 9 years and coming and jumping to this was a little fearful moment, then guess what happened? Everything that people had been telling me for months came back to attack me. You started telling, oh, they're really washing your brain. Do you really think you're going to become a millionaire by doing presentations in an iPad at a Starbucks? Like, I started saying that to myself. Oh my God, I can't believe they really washed my brain. I can't believe I just left my career to come and do presentations on an iPad. Do I really think I'm going to become a millionaire by doing that? And so I started doubting everything. And I stopped doing what I already knew what to do, right? But so thankfully enough, right, the challenges are what makes us stronger. And so when I went through that challenge, right, when I came full time, I started pushing. And I want to share with you guys something that I looked at that I thought it was interesting. Now go off on my pictures, okay? But this is something that I read. I'm an animal lover at 150,000%. And so this is what it says, right? This is what I researched. I'm going to explain to you guys what it says in there. Why animals, why creatures, when they're under stress, or when they're under, when they face challenge, they don't go through the stress we go, right? They don't get like, oh, like, you know, like us, like, oh, I gotta take antidepressants, and right? You don't see that in the wild. Like the rabbits in the wild, they don't take antidepressants. They don't have to have their coach calling them and telling like, hey, listen, you need to survive, you know, watch a video, pump it up. They don't go through any of that. There's one reason. And he says, we move things over. What does that mean? We know the future and we think about the past. Often continually, animals don't. So the reason why we're constantly fearful is because we know the past and we think about the future. And that's what makes us be fearful. We don't live the present. When we're scared, it's not the present. It's not the right now. Because I know that I can breathe. I know that I'm awake. I know that I have a possibility. I'm thinking about, oh my God, this is what happened in the past. And oh my God, this is what's going to happen in the future if right? And so when I read that, I said, okay, I have the answer to my problem. How I'm going to come out of this challenge. I'm going to win a day at a time. I'm going to forget about the past and I'm not going to think about the future. I'm just going to win today. If I'm able to win a day at a time, if I'm able to have daily wins, then I know I'm going to overcome the challenge, right? And that's what I did. I started winning a day at a time and then I became RVP. This was my entire team when I was an RVP, okay? Just so you guys know. You don't need an army to become an RVP. You just need your army inside here to become an RVP, right? And so after 4 months that I came full time, I became a regional vice president, right? I was excited when I became a regional vice president. And so I want to show you this, guys, right? And this might not mean a lot to you, but it should mean a lot to all the regional vice presidents right here. I don't know how many there are. Maybe the new ones don't understand that yet. But when you go to MIT is called Millionaires in Training. Is when you come out of RVP, they invite you to this training, what is really millionaires training you. And after that, you compete. You compete among your class to go back to Millionaires in Training. And only the top 5 return, right? And so it's like a golf competition, right? So the less points you have, right? I want you to know one thing that I didn't even know. And that's what I love about this company. There's one of the legends called Jim Cocker that I got into the car with them when I went to MIT as a returning, and he showed me this because I didn't know. I have been so far the only person in the entire history of MIT that returned as a number 1 in every category. Every single category there is, I return as a number 1. Now, I want you to know one thing. I had no clue how you compete. I had no clue you compete. I had no clue what you need to do to go back. You know what I had when I went RVP? When I went RVP, I had such a desire to become someone big that I just worked so hard. I had the biggest work ethic that you guys have never seen. I've always wanted to be the strongest one to work in my team. I wanted to be the first one to wake up, the last one to go to bed. I wanted the team to know that I was making more numbers than anyone else because I had a desire like no one to become big. Now, when I went RVP, okay, hold on. Let me tell you something. When I went RVP, I was at 45,000 in income, right? Now, picture this. RVPs now come out even with the ring. I know RVPs, like regional leaders, that come out at $100,000 with the watch, right? So when I went RVP, I was only at 45,000. My whole family was still making fun of me because they say, yeah, they really wash your brain. Like, you left a $130,000 job, a career, and now you're making 45,000 and you live with your mom and your brother. So yeah, you really think you're doing something good, right? And I was excited, like, oh, I'm an RVP. They're like, yeah, you're an RVP that makes 45,000. Like, where's the excitement in that, right? But if you work hard and if you believe in your leaders, which was Miguel and Will later, that were saying you're going to be huge, you're going to be great, you're going to do something big, look what happened. This is my first year as a regional vice president. I went from 40, I came out of vice president in April. On June, I crossed my 100,000. On October, I crossed my 200,000. And on April, a year exactly after, I caused $300,000 in income, right? So it's not what they said about you. It's not what they think. They don't know the business. You know the business. No one knows what's in your heart. But if you have it right here, they don't have no clue. You have to stop listening. Nowadays, I don't even let them talk to me. Oh, I wanted to tell you, shh, I don't need to hear it. Because then when I go through rough times, that's what's come back. I don't need to hear. No, but you know what? I really have an insight about your business. I didn't ask for it. Don't worry. I don't need to hear it. Like, thank you, right? So no one knows what you're going to do with this business. No one knows what the business is going to take you if you continue to do the right thing. If you continue to listen to the right people. If you continue to work really hard, right? No days off means no days off. I don't know who I'm talking to right now. I know there's 160. I don't know who is at what level, but I wanted to tell you something. If you want to make it big, you have to have a philosophy or no days off. I didn't take a day off in the business until I crossed my 200,000. Not one day off. When I crossed my 200,000, I said, I got to leave. I called Miguel when I was already in Cancun. I said, listen, I left for 2 days. I needed a break. I'll call you when I get back. 2 days, and I went back to work. Does it sound a little bit crazy? Yeah, but does it sound a little bit crazy to make a 300,000 in the first year as an RVP? Yes. You want crazy results? Do crazy things. Are you going to get criticized? Of course you're going to get criticized. And so what? The more they criticize me, the more they like it. I like it. I like it. I like the challenge. I like when people say, oh, yeah, you're going to be the next $1 million earner. Yeah, just watch. Right? Just stand and watch. So that was the first year. Let me share with you guys really what was the secret. The first one was the 1 day at a time. And the second one is this, right? This is my first 3 years in the business. First year I made 45,000. Second year I made 220,000. Third year I made 324,000, right? Why is that? Let me show you the relationship between income and licenses, okay? First year I had 83 licenses. Second year I had 147 licenses. I was making 220. Third year I had 345 licenses. I made 324,000, right? Do you guys see the exact correlation between growing in licenses and growing in income? Now, I know people, this is just, listen, whatever you guys are doing in your hierarchy, it works. You guys are great. Your leaders are amazing leaders. But I know people that do a lot more with few licenses. I'm not saying this is the only way, but I do believe that the best way to make a business last is to build it with strong bases, and the bases are the license. So you can make income. Meanwhile, don't find this as a reason to, oh, I don't make money because I don't have enough licenses. No, you can't make money without the licenses, but focus on building the licenses so in that way your business lasts. Okay? So then, right, I was at the top. I was like, yeah, 300 and some. I'm gonna be a millionaire within the next year. I'm gonna beat all records. And then I got pregnant. And so a lot of women are like, yeah, I'm pregnant. I was like, oh my God, I'm pregnant, right? Like that was a total, right? The majority of people are like, what a blessing. I was like, oh God, it is a blessing. But at that point, I couldn't see it like that because I felt that was a machine within my own business. I was the hardest worker I went. So I was like, what's going to happen now? Now I'm not going to be there as much as we want to say, yeah, we're going to be there all the time. It's not a reality, right? You want to be there the entire time, but sometimes you can't be there the entire time, right? And so what happened is that during those months, so obviously beautiful Sophia was born, right? And she's been the best thing that has happened in my life. But 3 months, I was one of those pregnant women that I said, okay, I'm pregnant, fine, whatever. It is what it is. It's going to be a blessing, right? But I'm going to work until the day of delivery. So the day that I'm going to push, that day I'm going to be closing something so the team knows and stuff like that. But you know what? God has his ways. So 3 months before I was my due date, I went to the doctor and he said, you can't work any longer. You have to be at home. And I said, no. Doctor, you don't understand. I have a business to run. I cannot be at home laying down. No, you have to be at home. This is a serious matter. Your health is at risk and stuff like that. And so I had no choice. I really had to stay home for the following 3 months. So for 3 months before Sophia was born, I was at home. I was active in the sense that I was still calling team, but I was not on the field. I didn't do one appointment. I couldn't. I tried to trick him. And so, because I said, okay, what is it? He said, you can't be sitting. Like the point is you can't be sitting. You have to be laying down. So I said, okay, I have an answer for that. Mom, you drive. I'm going to lay in the back of my car with my legs up. I get to the appointment, do the appointment, and then I come back. And I did that for 2 weeks, and then my health got worse. So he said, you really have to stay home. So I stayed home. So 3 months I was at home. And then 3 months after Sophia was born, I couldn't go back to work yet, right? Because I was having some health situations that, bless the Lord, right now I'm perfect and she's perfect too. But, right, I needed to take care of that. But let me tell you, that is the first time that I realized what Primerica is. I realized the blessing that we all have in our hands, because I want you to see this. Those little red, pink areas that you see are the months that I couldn't work. The months that I didn't even see one client, one agent, nothing. Every single month, the business paid me. 20,000, 18,000, 13,000. That's the month Sophia was born. 15,000, 19,000, 28,000 without me touching the field. That's what a business is about. That's what the Primerica business is about. Now, I want to tell you something. Your story might not be Sophia, but things are going to happen, right? It's never if they're going to happen, it's when they're going to happen. There's going to be a point when things are going to happen in our life, whether we want it or not. It's how prepared are we when things are going to happen? Because something's going to happen again, and I just want to be more prepared when that happens. So in that way, if I need to be absent or whatever it is, I can be there, right? So that's what the business paid me. Now, let me tell you why the business paid me that way. And it's because of this, right? Licenses are this, right? Now, women are like, what the heck is that? Yeah, right? So this is part of a car. And what this does is it does this, and that's what keeps the car moving. Those are your licenses. Yeah, the guys are like, pistons, I know what it is, obviously. Women, we kind of don't know. We kind of know it does something in a car, but we're not sure really what exactly it does. But this is what your licenses are, guys. If you have licensed, trained people, then whenever you're not in the field, there's going to be leaders that take over. Someone, next one. It's not always the same one. People get tired. You're going to have one leader right now that's doing, they get a little tired. There's another one that pulls, right? So now look at this, right? So, right, I went to 345, then I got to 455 licenses. And guess what happened? I crossed the 400. So guys, I just gave you the best tip I could give you. I give you the two best tips. The first one is win a day at a time. The second one is how much money do you want to make? Right? Oh, you want to make $1 million? Get to 1,000 licenses. Oh, you want to make 300? Get to 300 licenses. You get that's right. Now, I had to work in other things to get to 400, and let me tell you what some of the things were. Right here, your head. Because remember that if you mind can achieve it, you want to achieve it. If you mind doesn't think it's true, there's no way you're gonna get there. And I couldn't see myself making 400. Like I will say, yeah. But I remember Willie Naranjo was kind of giving me bullying for months. He was like, when are you going to get out of the 300? When are you going to, and I was like, why the heck haven't I moved from 300 to 400? Like, what's wrong? So I call Miguel and I say, okay, coach, I need a game plan. I need to go to 400,000. What do I need to do? I'm like, oh, easy. You just have to this month make 50 some, and then the next month make 62,000 and you'll be at 400. And so I said, okay, great, you got it. Boom, I hang up. And then my head was like, what? Like, how am I going to make 60,000? The most I had done in Primerica was like 40,000. I was like, how am I going to bring it to 50,000? Now, I didn't tell him that. You're never going to see me telling my upline when they say, you got to do this. I'm not going to be like, oh, no, I'm scared. That's not my person. I'm like, yeah, you got it. I'm going to do it. But on my own, I was like, oh, my God, how the heck I'm going to do that, right? And so I said, okay, I got to work on some things. Now, remember, I come from a science major, right? So my brain is very black and white, or used to be very black and white. Like if it's 1 + 1 is 2, that's it. And so how many times have we heard, you have to visualize it, you have to put it somewhere, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. But I used to think like, yeah, hocus pocus, that works for some people, but that's not going to work for my brain. I know my brain really well. But I said, okay, well, let me give it a try. If I need to get to 400, let me give it a try, right? So this is what I did. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to make it bigger. So I'm going to go down. I printed that picture, right? And I posted right here. I call these right here in my office on the side. That's like my wall of whatever you want, just put it there. Because I put that, and then I made myself a little pay stub. Right, like now, if you guys are recording it or whatever, this is not a real thing. I made it, right? I didn't show this to the public. It was just for me. But since 60,000 seemed like crazy, I wrote down there 62,787 because I needed like 59 to get to the 400. So I put $3,000 more just in case. I was like, give me a little, right? And so I put it there, and I put that picture everywhere. In my bathroom, in my closet, in my everywhere. So all I could see was see it and 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 see it, right? I think my cleaning lady was like, she's really crazy. Like, yeah, they thought probably I was really insane. But let me show you something. Look how much they paid me that month. $70,289, right? So the hocus pocus work. It works. You just have to obviously do the work. It's not like I put 60,000 and then I sat down in my house. I worked. But there was no possibility that if my mind would start thinking about it, was possible. I would repeat it every day. Thank you, God, for Primerica, paying me 62,187. I remember it because I used to say it for 1 month. Every day I said it. Every day I said it, right? And then the other thing that I worked on was this. I read, guys. I went to do a school for Bill Arender, one of the legends of Primerica. And when I went to him, he said, I have to read money books to stay money motivated. And I said, well, you don't need to be money motivated. You filthy rich. He's like, no, I have to always read money books so I can always keep moving to the next level. So I said, can you tell me a list of all the books? And he sent me a list. He gave me a list. And that same day he gave me the list, I purchased all the books, all of them. You guys don't know how many times I talk about books and people, yeah, I'm going to buy it. They write it down, they never buy it. I bought all of them. And in that month, I read these 3 books, the Bible, which I always read, but then I read God Wants You Rich, The Wealth Choice, and So Shall Prosper. Why? Because I needed to plant seeds in my brain that I can be rich, that I can make money, because we don't come with that. For years, they have actually told us the other way around. So I needed that in my brain, a constant reminder, right? So now, this is right now what we have. 554 licenses in the base shop, 812 licenses through First. What do you guys think is going to happen? I'm going to cross 500,000. I'm crossing this month, right? Why? Not because I'm a super genius, right? I just show you guys two recruits by 3 recruits by 10,000, 5 personal licenses, stuff like that. But because I have the codes, because I reach 500 codes, I have to cross the 500 license, right? So you guys want to go to the million? I want to go to the million. Guess what my goal? 1 million licenses through First. I'm sorry, not 1 million licenses. That would be nice. I'm going to write that one, right? It came out for something. 1,000 licenses through First, right? Now, to finish, guys, I want to share with you guys what are some of the great things that have happened to me in the business. And everyone sells the dream in a different way, or leaves the, it's not sell the dream, leaves the dream in a different way. I'm not at my dream life, but I'm living kind of a dream life, right? Because once you start making over $30,000, $40,000 a month, you kind of are doing pretty good if you're smart with your money, right? So now look at this. First thing that happens, and I want to, you guys all know Miguel Elite, right? So I got to show you this. He hates when I should do this, but I'm going to do it because he's not watching, okay? First is that you look a lot better with money than without money. Why? I don't know. This is the first picture we took when I first started, and these are the pictures he was holding there, Sophia, and then I was there with Julie. But you really look much better with money than without money. I don't think it's, trust me, he hasn't had any plastic surgery. I haven't had any plastic surgery. It's not that. It's just you start, there's something inside you that you start just like projecting a different thing, right? And you can see it. I mean, look how he looked there, right? Look how it looked there. Look how we look now. It's a huge difference, right? The second thing is this. So I'm not a big car fan yet, but that used to be my first car, right? That Nissan Murano is when I came into the business. I was an RVP at $100,000, guys. I want you to know that. I had that Nissan Murano and I didn't want to sell it because it was already paid for. So I was like, I don't want, Miguel was like, you need to get a better car. You need to get a better car. I'm like, dude, it's already paid for. I don't have payments for it. It takes me from appointment to appointment. I'm closing. I'm doing really good. Leave me alone, right? But what happened? The car was really breaking down everywhere. So I would be on a way to an appointment and then he would break down there. I would leave the car there, get an Uber, finish my appointment, come back. And so I got that first Mercedes, right? And so initially for me, all those things I had to work on, That Mercedes was only like $400 a month of payments. But for me, I was like, I felt like I was increasing what I was paying. And I really wanted to, my goal when I came to Primerica was to become a millionaire. It was not to show people I'm a millionaire, it was to become a millionaire. And so I really was saving. So that was the first car I got. And then right now, that's my car, the SUV, the Mercedes SUV. Yeah, I mean, it's not the Rolls Royce Miguel drives, but again, money, it gives you choices. When I was pregnant, I knew I couldn't have the sports car, but the most important thing that I wanted a safe car. I wanted a car that, you know, I live in Miami, bunch of crazy Latin people here driving mad, right? So I wanted to make sure that if something was to happen, I would be in a safe car. And this is one of the safest cars there are there. I'm good at research. So I researched, read, and this is one of the safest cars. So I went and I bought it. Well, I listened, but I bought it. It's a beautiful car, drives me everywhere. You know, I love it. I'm not about to change cars anytime soon, even though I'm a $500,000. It's not my intention, right? But that for me was important. The other things that for me are important, right, is this. I've been able to really enjoy. So in the last couple of years in Primerica, I've traveled everywhere. I mean, in every single trip there is with Primerica, out outside of Primerica. I remember how for years I told my mom, no, you can't come with me. You shouldn't be here. You should, stuff like that. Well, she travels everywhere, right? When you guys, if we're ever in the same phase, for some reason it seems like we're never in the same phase, but if we're in the same phase one day, the first person you're going to see hugging, kissing everyone is going to be my mom, okay? She's the kisser and the hugger. I'm not that much, so that's a good part of her. But we traveled everywhere. We've been in California, we've been in the Bahamas, we've been in Hawaii, we've been everywhere, right? With the hierarchy on our own, we have made fun trips, right? We went to New York together, right? The team that we have. I went to Dubai. Well, we went to London. That was London. If you guys seen that bottom picture, I'm pregnant as crazy. I don't know how I did that, right? We went to Dubai. And I'm really wild. After I come back, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that. But I was really, really pregnant there. I can't believe I flew all the way to the Emirates for that. But we flew to Dubai. We had a great time. We went to Paris, right? And we went, and I take that picture because it's very different when you fly in business or first class than when you fly in regular, right? That's not what makes happiness. But I want to tell you, when you get in those long trips and you sleep, you see there, I'm sleeping with Sophia. We're comfortable. We're having a good time. It makes a total difference. We came there, the people that went, we went for like 10 people. The people that went the regular class, they were beat up from the trip. We were like, okay, where are we going? We slept the entire trip. So it does make a difference. That's in Paris. We went in Paris. We had a really good time, right? And then the other reason, some of the things that have brought happiness to my life is this, right? It's to make yourself part of yourself. I think some of the things that we forget, guys, we think that's being a narcissist, and it's not. One of the reasons, Art Williams said, everyone wants to be somebody. Everyone has a lighting picture here that says, I want, one second, guys, I'm so sorry. Sorry about that, guys. So one of the things that I wanted is I wanted to be proud of myself. I wanted to make myself proud, not for my mom, not for my daughter, for myself, right? The other thing was this. Like the Virginia Carter Award. I mean, how many people can say they won the Virginia Carter Award? And that's the opportunity that Primerica gives you. But you know what? We all want to make our parents, our goal, our responsibility is to be better than our parents. That's our responsibility. And our goal is to make our parents proud, right? And our kids proud. And that day, Primerica gave me the opportunity to make both of them proud at the same time. Now, I don't know if Sophia's going to like me too much when I show her that picture, that she's going to be like, I can't believe you took me out with those and socks and everything in public. But I made her proud that day. And whenever she has a bad attitude, I'm going to say, shh, remember who says Virginia Carter? Okay, you can't have a bad attitude, okay? I'm mom, right? Another thing is the thing we do for people. Like when people say we really change lives, we change lives, right? I personally had a chance to help this couple, which they're amazing, right? And they're the ones that have done all the job. But Luis got recruited with me when he was 18 years old, right? Marjorie is his mom. When they were on the RVP run, unfortunately, she got sick. She got diagnosed with a cancer. And at that time, she was actually the lead aide. She was the one that was doing appointments and stuff like that. And everyone thought that Luis was a young kid. But he wasn't a young kid. He was a man. During that period of time when his mom was sick, he came out and he did that RVP run like I've never seen. I remember vividly when one day she was having chemotherapy, was next to her. He called me and I said, hey, listen, if you need to come to the hospital, it's okay. You don't have to be in appointments today. And he said, no, coach, I'm not going to go because my mom's disease is temporary, but this business is forever. And I said, wow. What a man. They became RVPs that day. I still remember it made me very emotional because I know how the life changes are close the $200,000, and they're done amazing things. And their mom, his mom, is disease free. So he was right, right? Then Isabel and Oscar, which is my second RVPs, no English whatsoever, and they're fully licensed. I don't know how that girl did, but she's hardcore. She took that license and studied, translated the book, translated the videos, translated everything. They're closer to $200,000. And then the other thing that I'm very, very proud of is this, obviously. And it's all those years that, right, for reasons that we will never understand, but that was God's choice, I couldn't spend time with my mom, right? Now I've been able to spend every single minute with her and make her, right, enjoy her life. Now I made her my partner. I made the Primerica send her a ring. Why? Because you know what? I have to make her happy for as long as I can. My goal is to make her bucket list. I told her, I want you to write a bucket list, and I want to make check mark in every single thing that she does. So that day she was happy. She got her ring. She was being recognized at the office for everyone, right? And then of course this part. Guys, I have been able to share every single moment with Sophia. I think for you guys that follow me on social media, she took over my social media, right? But I've been a present mom. If I was a nurse practitioner, I would have not been a present mom. I would have been someone that dropped her at 6 in the morning at the daycare, come back and pick her up at around 7:30, 8 p.m. to put her to sleep and do it again. And I have worked hard. I'm not going to tell you that I'm all day playing with her. No, I work hard. And she knows when mom's working. But I'm also being able to be there with her. I'm the one that bathes her, puts her to bed, give her to food. I mean, I chose what I do. So obviously, this is about to happen, guys. You guys, all keep praying for me, pushing for me. Remember that we all here can succeed, right? And within the next 2 weeks, I should be crossing the 500,000. And all that does is it gives hope and example for other people that they can do it too. This is my track record for whoever wants to. If you think your story is not important, your story is the most important thing, and you are to mark your story, because you're going to talk about that forever, right? And I'm not going to spend that much time in that. But I always put, I'm going to be the fastest woman to the million, because Cher Bartlett said it once, and I said, why not, right? And then just to finish, guys, I want to tell you this, right? I wrote this when I crossed the 500,000, but I want you to keep it, not because I wrote it, but I want you to remember this. I wrote this 4.5 years ago. I was a nurse practitioner. I was happy with the field, but unhappy with the inability to keep growing. God blessed me with an opportunity, which I told you guys, but I was smart enough to take it. Please take it by the horns. Do Primerica. Now, for many around me, switching careers seemed like a crazy decision. I was criticized by others and advised by many that out of their best intentions, but with little knowledge on what the company does in the field, telling me not to do it, that I would regret it. Luckily enough, I didn't listen. Luckily enough, I had a seed in my heart that it was the right decision. Luckily enough, I had the support of the two most important people in my life, my brother and my mother. What I tell you this, guys, a lot of you are going to allow people to take you out of your dreams. A lot of you are going to listen to the wrong people. But luckily enough, I didn't. My best advice for you guys is don't listen to anyone. Stay focused, build the business, live the dream, believe the dream. Because if it's happening for you, for your leader, guys, if it's happening for me, I know that it can happen also for you as well, right? And so that's part of my story. I hope you guys learned, enjoyed it, took notes, right? Make it big, make 2020 really the best year for you, and really make this next decade, like the company says, the decade of dominance, because I know we can do it. I know each one of you guys can do it, and it only takes a year or two to bring your business from 0 to 300,000 or 500,000 if you decide to do so, right? So guys, I hope that helped. Thank you so much for having me, and we'll see you at the top. Everyone, if you ever need any questions, let me know, okay? Bye guys, thanks.
Coach, you there, Coach?
Ed, you're muted.
That's amazing. Amazing.
Okay, there it is. There it is. There it is. Excellent. Hey, Diana, very nice. Wow, what a story, guys. What a story. Beautiful story. I mean, inspiring story. And I'm like you, man. I'm like you. I mean, we serve an awesome God, and I just hope and I pray that someone on this call got inspired that you can do this thing. I mean, look what she's done. I mean, and sometimes you look at it and you say, we have not because we ask not, guys. We have an awesome God. Just put it out there, man. Just put it out there. And he will bless you only if you put the work ethic. Only if you go to work. You got to go to work, okay? But if you're going to focus on working here, just like I saw something here. I don't know if you guys saw it, but if you're going to put the work in, you put the work in on growing your licenses, because that's going to drive everything. That's going to give you security. That's going to give you income. That's going to give you stability. That's going to give you a life. All right. So Diana, I love you so much, and I appreciate everything you've done here. And I'm telling you that's very inspiring. And I just hope and pray, like I mentioned before, that someone on this call has taken this and you run with it and you own it. Okay. Because it is yours. This is about you becoming financially independent. Okay. For you becoming financially free. So I thank you guys. I love you guys, man. And I'm telling you, hey, listen, we're going to be doing this again next, it's going to be next Wednesday. We got Keith Otto. But hey, listen, before we go there, let me just make sure that I also, again, just give it up for Diana and thanking you for everything you have done for us, okay? So if you would, everyone, come on, let's unmute ourselves. Let's go.